Hi, this is Jill Riley with the Pacific Northwest Conference, and today I am so excited to talk to Sara Hwang, and she is from Encounter Church, which is on Mercer Island. And
Yeah.
Sara embarked on the whole world of the covenant.
Yes, yes.
Yes. And so we wanted to talk to her just a little bit about both her journey to Encounter and the covenant and how that happened. And then
Mhm.
also she got to participate in both the Next Gen conference and Midwinter for the very first time. So
Yeah.
we want to hear that experience through your eyes. So tell us just a little bit about yourself.
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest here, a little bit south of Seattle, Washington. And I grew up here until I was 18, moved to the East Coast in Boston, where I went to college. And that's really where that community there, that's where I found my calling, I would say. That community there really affirmed my calling into full-time ministry. And so I pivoted my major, everything, and then I spent about a decade doing full-time ministry in a rural church in South Korea, working with young children. It was the best years of my life. So much of my ministry experience, my faith was formed, my heart for children and the next generation was formed. It was probably the most impactful years of my ministry career yet. Then I moved back and got married, had kids, and began serving in a church in Bellevue, Washington. I started as a children's pastor here. I'm a Korean American and I see what my parents needed in a community growing up and then and I see the needs now of myself and my children and it's very different. When I look at even what the covenant kind of stands for, this multi-ethnic mosaic of God's kingdom and just when I look at that cross, I think there was so much emphasis on loving Jesus, that vertical relationship growing up. And that's kind of all I was taught in that first generation immigrant church. And what I need now and what my children need now is that horizontal relationship with people. It's really the that multi-ethnic just gospel of just loving people. It's not just the people who look like me and talk like me. And the church that I was currently serving in America it was a second generation Asian American church. But, trying to take that to a place of being justice minded, multi-ethnic, it was a huge shift. But that's when we joined the covenant and have gone through many seasons now of pruning and growing and being challenged. And the more I have had the opportunity to learn about our denomination, last fall I got to go to Gather. It was so educational. I really got to understand the work that the ECC was doing in our world. I did always hear that, that was more of a formal, and then Midwinter
Right.
was like the more fun one, more networking. And I'm starting to really put together, this is our denomination. These are the things we not just talk about, but we stand for.
Right.
And I'm so happy and proud and excited to be a part of this denomination. And
Okay, so you had a chance to spend a little time with the next gen people.
yeah.
Tell us your feeling about or reflection about that part of the conference.
Yeah, so actually, it was my first Next Gen conference, and I am a children's pastor. I also am a young adults pastor at our church, so I do both ministries. Um, and I was excited to just, I didn't have any expectations, but I was excited to just go and be inspired.
Mhm.
And I actually took a team of 6 volunteers with me.
Great.
We were lucky enough to just have the resources, and I just wanted to. I think because of what I had taken away at Gather, a lot of our church members sometimes they know we're part of the Evangelical Covenant Church, but they don't really know what that means. So
Sure.
my hope was kind of that they would come and be like, this is what we're part of, a bigger picture, this bigger. multi-ethnic mosaic. And so we came and we learned, and the breakouts were so good. And we all went to different ones so we could talk about it and just engage and what we had taken away. And I think it was just a great time to really um, connect with
Mm.
other people who are kind of in the trenches, in the day to day. And so I think it was just for me, it was inspirational.
So Midwinter, the big covenant party.
Yeah,
No, it's not
yeah.
really the covenant party, but
The fun one.
it is the fun one.
Not
No,
gather, the fun one.
I'm anxious to hear your reflection because I remember my first Midwinter and how it struck
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
because it was all of a sudden, oh, this is the covenant.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of
So
yeah.
what were your impressions?
I mean, I am always blown away just by the intentionality of even the platform that is so, the representation on the stage, I can see just how intentional it is that everyone is represented. And it's not just in a way that's like, oh, being sure that there's women or an Asian American or an African American, but the way that, it really reflects the denomination, the worship leaders, the speakers, even the on MLK, the group that led the worship. Just
Powerful.
yeah, it's so powerful. And I think that's really the part about that conference that I really am always just so moved by, that just big gathering together and that platform. And you know yeah, you just kind of never know who's going to be up there, but it's always someone that has such a different but wonderful and diverse kind of, yeah, just view that is like new for me. And
Right. Did you find yourself connecting with people that you normally wouldn't have a chance to connect with?
I am a North Park student, so that was really nice because, I've met many people on the screen in classes, but it was really nice to just meet my fellow classmates, in
Wonderful.
person. I do think it was a little difficult to make new connections if you have not been in the covenant for a long time. Because I did notice that, this is really a space where people are connecting, they know each other. But as someone who's part of a church that is new to the covenant, um, yeah, I did feel like, oh, okay. I see now how once you start attending more and more midwinters and gathers, you start building that kind of
Right.
connection and that kind of network grows. So I think that's something that I have to look forward to.
Yeah.
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 But it's just kind of
So,
starting. Yeah.
yeah. So what about workshops or breakout sessions? What did you get to hear?
They were all so good. I mean, one of my favorite ones was the racial reconciliation breakfast that we got to go to. And I think that one really stood out to me because the New Testament in Color is a resource that we use a lot of times, even at our own church. And the speaker for that breakfast was Jeanette Oak, fellow Asian American woman, and she was a writer. She was the writer and editor of that book that we always use here, and so that was very special. All of them, they were so good. The Woman of Clergy, I love that one. It was my first Kappa. I was
Nice.
like, wow, there's so many other Asian pastors in the
Yeah.
country.
And
So all
isn't
of
that, I mean, we're
those.
talking about diversity and how important and special that is, but it's also special and important to be with people that you're going, there aren't
Yeah.
people like me doing this work, right?
Right, right. I also got to meet a lot of local pastors that I never would have met if not, at Midwinter and then reconnecting now that we're here. So
Right.
that's great.
Well, I'm so glad you
Yeah.
had the opportunity to go. I'm also glad I have the opportunity to meet you. And
Thank you. Me
I just,
too.
I just pray that your journey in the covenant is beautiful and gracious
Mhm.
and inviting all the way. And I
Thank
just
you,
encourage
Jill.
you as you make new relationships and new friends
Yeah.
that it's wonderful blessing to you. So thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it, and you have a great day.
You too. Thank you so much, Jill.